Fine. All right, good evening, council members and the mayor. Welcome to my favorite part of the year, the budget study sessions. And I know there's been a bunch of documents handed out over the past few days, so just wanted to kind of go over documents and what we'll be going through and what you can refer to when we're talking to the department. So first and foremost, just to go over a couple of the required documentation. This document right here is the document that was sent out on Friday the 1st. This is what we call the budget white pages or summary. This is the charter regulated, state mandated document that needed to get to council on April 1st. And then a few days later, and typically how we've done it in the past is we follow that document up with this document, which is a proposed budget overview that goes over the mayor's proposed budget in more detail. And then we'll go over some other documentation in a second, what you just got today, because those are even more details at a department level that you guys can look at as departments are coming up and discussing their department budget. So
no green bar, dot matrix,
Yeah.
8.5 by 14.
no, this is as close as we get. And all these documents are PDF forms, so after this meeting, I know I did email Councilwoman Whitten because she's not here, those documents you received today, but after this meeting, I'll also email you the PDF version if you guys like PDF version of documents. Send it to you guys, send it for your records.
And I did mention that in the beginning. Councilwoman is planning to be here tomorrow. She is watching here tonight.
Okay. So, I just want to go over kind of a few highlights. So if we can, just to turn to I'm just going to go over just the budget summary real quick. And what I mainly concentrate on this summary is general fund, which is the city's biggest fund. As we get to the departmental discussions, then we'll go over the other funds like the Act 51 funds, the roads, the Act 179 fund, the water sewer funds. We'll go over those funds in more detail as those departments come up for their discussions. But for now, I'm just going to give a brief overview, general overview of the general fund, and so to help you guys more information. So that being said, basically, also another point to make too is as we're doing this budget, we're also doing an amendment to the current year budget, the fiscal year 22 year that we're in. We always do this at this time. Now, granted, this budget amendment is not as big as we've done last time because we just had a rather large budget amendment in January for the fiscal year 22, but there are some additional changes that are included in this budget document. So when we approve the budget, we will also be approving the fiscal year 22, what we call an omnibus budget amendment. So keep that in mind, and we'll discuss the differences between the fiscal year 22 changes and then also the fiscal year 23 budget. So just keep that in mind. That's typically how we've done in the past.
So just to be clear, the 2021-22 projected budget, is that where what was approved previously with the budget amendment?
So that's a new number, that's a new projection. Yep. And you will see that with the detailed documents, you will see the current budget versus the projected budget, so you can easily see where those changes are. And we'll go over a few of those highlights in this overview as well too. So just as a brief estimate or a brief overview of the document, so just a summary of general fund. I'm looking at page 3 of the smaller document, just to kind of go over just briefly what we see with the fund balance of general fund. So the fiscal year 22, which is the year that we're in, the new projected estimated expenditures over revenue is approximately $2.9 million. And we will talk about it, but it's approximately about $100,000 change from our current amended budget, and we'll go over the details of why that is. With that excess of expenditures over revenues, our ending fund balance for the general fund is just over $11 million projected for fiscal year 22. Our unassigned portion is projected to be $10.3 million. And then shifting over to next fiscal year 23, we have a total general fund revenue of $44.6 million against total expenditures of $44.5 million, which is approximately $89,000 surplus for the year. And what that does to the fund balance is that you have an approximate ending fund balance in fiscal year '23 of 11.1 million, and unassigned fund balance would be about 10.4 million. So that being said, I am going to no longer refer to this document anymore. Like I said, very summarized. I am going to refer to this document because they have nice little graphs and tables on there, so I want to go over with the council. So on this budget overview, we'll start looking at some of the graphs. And in there, I'm not going to go over the narratives too much, but you can read the narratives at your leisure to kind of go over some of the changes in there. But I'm going to start with the the tables and graphs.
Page number, please.
Yep, page 10 is where we start with the state assessed value versus our taxable value. Always an interesting graph. For those who attended the training seminar a couple weeks ago, this is kind of similar to what they present as well too. But as you can see on this document, you have the SEV versus our taxable value. So if you're not familiar with the state of Michigan tax laws and the taxable value versus SEV, once you sell your home, your SEV and your taxable value is equal, right? And generally those are set at 1/2 of the true cash value of the home. Then what happens is your SEV will raise, your value of your home will raise, but your taxable value can only go up so much because of what they call Proposal A and the Headley amendments. They can only go up the lesser of inflation, and I believe it's like 5 or 7%, I think it's 5%. So when you look at this graph, the lower line, you can see how it doesn't go up as much as the line that's in black. So that being said, that all that assessed value we're not capturing in tax revenue because of those particular legislations. So that's what this item represents. And for fiscal year fiscal year 23, which is tax year 22, from the assessing department, our state equalized value SEV was just over $2 billion, while our taxable value is just shy of 1.5 billion. So again, if you look at the trend, they're going up, but as a finance guy, I wish the bottom line was going up higher.
So that goes back to 2008, 2009, when everything went down 30–40%. One thing I'll note, the current budget is about 60% or so of what it was when I was last on council. I think we're at about 65,000, so about 68%. So that kind of gives you a sense of where the revenue's gone down. And then, it can only go up 5% or the rate of inflation, whichever is less. So probably next year when inflation is, we'll get to that in yours, but it more likely will be 5% next year just because of inflation.
Yeah. Nope. So on page 11, then, as we talk about the tax levy, right? When we approve the budget, we also have to approve the tax levy, the city portion of the tax levy for the next fiscal year. And page 11 is what that levy is. And as you can see, it's status quo. There is no estimated change in the tax levy. One factor that could be involved is there could be a heavy rollback, that those documents have not been prepared yet, usually prepared in the middle of April. So if there is any type of rollback, we will definitely jump on it and make sure we can make some changes, But as we reviewed all the budgets for all the funds, there was no anticipated increase in any tax rolls.